Hey there, YouTube friends, maskedbandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me again today. Always do appreciate it. We are back in Cities Skylines again. Been a little while. We are still rebuilding the stuff that I deleted last time. Did not appreciate what we were doing, so we decided to restart it in episode 3, and here we are in episode 4 now. And first things first, trying to just flesh out a little bit more of the blank spots, trying to get an idea of what I want there, what I don't want there, trying to eat up space while still leaving room for parking, because that's one of the things I've noticed happens a lot in a lot of these American cities. Also, you'll notice there are a lot of blank blocks. Those are all reserved for parking. We get some of them done in this episode, but I just cannot. I cannot do it. I can't just sit there and do parking lots for hours and hours and hours. And I don't want to record parking lots for hours and hours and hours. So actually, what I've done is I've actually done some work off camera after I did this recording. Not much, nothing major. If I ever do anything that's interesting and important, I guarantee you I will record it. But yeah. Also in this episode, if we haven't already, we're going to start laying down some theater stuff. I went on the workshop and binged some theater things, and so I want to make a little theater district and a museum. I'm still looking for a good museum, and I'd also like to do a bit of a university, like a downtown university idea. I think that'd be kind of cool. Some references would be the one I went to. I started my collegiate career at DePaul University in Lincoln Park, which is not downtown, but they do have a downtown building, and it's more like a skyscraper than it is actual looking like a school. So I don't know, maybe we'll do something with that. I don't know, but again, this episode is a lot of the little details to kind of try and make this area look a little bit more completed. It's very bare right now, and especially with the lack of cars and pedestrians and life, it's missing that. It's missing that little bit. So in the first thing here we're doing is taking this old stock exchange building and we're giving it a nice little plaza so that it's not so oogly from the back, because it is kind of oogly in the back. So little details here and there, just trying, again, getting used to things. I'm considering getting is it the theme mixer mod? I have not dabbled with that, but I don't know how much I am actually digging this pavement texture in the Rye Bluffs map theme. That's what I'm using. I'm using the Rye Bluffs theme, but I'm not sure how much I'm really digging on the pavement texture. I might go in and try and do some tidbits, and I also might try to get maybe a fertile texture that's a little more green, so that I can paint grass without it looking so just dead. It doesn't look. I want to be able to do manicured grass, and even with the decals that I have of manicured grass, they're not totally opaque, and so you get the real, like, you can see me toying with it here, trying to get some ideas. Like, I downloaded some really small grass that looks nice, but it doesn't do what I want it to do. So I think I might do some fiddling with theme mixer. I think that's what it's called. Again, still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out how to work. You can see me fiddling here with all the different. This actually looked not bad. Placing the manicured grass on top of pavement gave it the kind of green I was going for, but it was too thick, too wide in this application. So I ended up going with the curbs. And I actually did go and grab King Leno's curb networks, which are super cool. I've recently been turned on to the whole network idea, so I've downloaded a bunch of network assets. I assume they're assets. Some fencing and some of those hedges and all kinds of stuff that I'm going to fiddle around with and see if we can't make look really, really good. So I guess what I'm going to try to do is get a basic outline of the downtown and then try and go back in with a finer detail brush, we'll call it. And so this is like my first detail pass, and then I might come back in and hit some spots here and there. I think that'll work better for me than trying to hyper detail one little area. I guess the only thing for that is then it kind of becomes the episode might feel unfinished. Like it's like you didn't get much done. But I'm kind of jumping all over the place, and so what would you rather see? If would you rather see little, like, we'll call them vignettes, little dioramas of completed areas, what I'm trying to do with detail, or would you rather see like all the buildings go in and then all the roads and parking and then all the details and at the very end? What are your thoughts on that? What do you want to see from a Cities Skylines series on my channel? Open to suggestions. So hitting up that the Gibson Guitar Factory by Gula here, trying to add some parking and some backstaginess, and I think I just kind of abandoned it because I ran into the same. It's like it's up higher. I need to get in there with Move It, and also need to figure out how to use the snap to the same height tool in Move It. I'll have to do some experimenting with that. To be frank, I haven't played in a while. I got enough to get the episode done about a week ago, and I haven't really played since then. It's been, if you've watched some of my Planet Coaster stuff recently, you'll know I've been kind of a weird place with games and gaming and work and family. I've just, ever since the end of summer, I have not been able to get into a groove, and I've mentioned this in the most recent Planet Coaster video. And it's hard to get the drive to do things, and I don't know why. It's not like I'm depressed or anything, so I don't know what's up with that, but I'm just too tired. I'm like tired all the time. But you don't need to hear about that. One of the things I did enjoy is this prop tool. Again, I don't know what it's called. Prop it up, maybe? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Prop It Up. Where you can remove all the props from buildings. That's an awesome tool because these, as you can see, these pine trees here, they look really ridiculous in this super urban environment. So I have to go in there and fiddle with it. But before that, we add this kind of security fence. Not too fancy, more utilitarian than nice. That's kind of what I want. I want some grungier areas. So those are the areas I want to go back in and distress and add some clutter and some grittier details. So here we are. I'm trying to figure it out. It takes me a little while to figure out how to get it to work, but eventually I do. Remove all the trees from all the buildings. Is there a way to do that rather than all at one, or do I have to go in there and individually do it for each one? Or is it once I plop it, can I use Move It to duplicate it? Is that how that works? Oh, I wonder. See, I'm trying to learn all the shortcuts so I can get more accomplished in an episode, because I feel like I am really inefficient with my City Skylines playing. Like I watch all the people that I'm sure those of you that watch me like to watch. I watch $2.20. I watch Strict Toaster. I watch Flux Trance. I watch Prez. And they seem to get way more accomplished in an episode than I do. Granted, they're really good, and I am not at that level at all at this juncture. But I feel like I am not making the most of the tools I have. So any hints and tricks, if you ever see me struggling with something, feel free to give me the hints and tricks that you are familiar with, that you know work. Drop those in the comments, and I will be sure to try and learn them as quickly as possible, because I do want to get progress being made. I feel like I've just stagnated here these first few episodes, because it takes me forever to do anything. I just gotta hunt and whatever. So I like this central area here as a little garden area. At least I did, but then I deleted it. I think I might go back in and add that. So then I decided to go ahead and start detailing some of the hotels that we have, because in the last episode we placed like every hotel in the game, every hotel in the workshop. I think we put on somewhere in the city, and I went for the Hotel Derrick first because it's the hotel that is in the city I'm from, or that I'm currently living in. It's a Houston establishment in a really swanky part of town called the Galleria. We have a big old mall there called the Galleria Mall, and yeah, Hotel Derek kind of swank. I've only been there once, and by been there, I've been in the little part where you drop people off the foyer. Actually, I didn't get out of the car at all. I was in a shuttle from the airport. They dropped someone off at the Hotel Derek before getting me to my apartment. Many moons ago that happened. So, but yeah, I wanted to shore it up a little bit, make it a little more, add some fencing, add some trees, just kind of hide the parking lot. But I also wanted that parking lot there because that's really kind of, there's so many hotels, even the fancy ones where like you go to the outdoor pool and it's butted up against the parking lot. So I liked that little detail. I thought that was kind of fun. Another thing I noticed when doing some research is there are a lot of plazas next to some, there are a lot of plazas, or a lot of times you'll see a plaza next to a skyscraper. Just to add some greenery, because I noticed that we were really missing green in our city. Almost said park. We were really missing green in the city, and I wanted to see how do you add green? How do cities do that? And it's a lot of little sitting areas, a lot of little plazas, things like that. And then I wanted to go ahead and add a proper driveway and drop-off area for our Westin hotel. So that's what I'm goofing around with here, trying to make work. I think it turns out okay with a combination of actual roads and ploppable asphalt. I think it turns out pretty good. And then we had some little details around it. And I think this might actually be the kind of level of detail I would like to do. Light on the decals, but then fencing and trees and stuff that makes sense without, I probably can't get super heavily detailed. I mean, I could, it's just, I feel, I'm already feeling overwhelmed enough with just trying to build a city. With this being my first legitimate attempt at a city. My first Cities Skylines series to go past 4 episodes. Since like the game first came out, so just bear with me, and hopefully you still are enjoying the progress we're making. I realize this is just kind of your standard build a city series, and because there's so many unique things going on right now in Cities Skylines. Like I'm addicted. I mentioned him just a couple minutes ago, but I'm addicted to Border Town. I love that series by $2.20. That is so awesome, and it's such a unique concept, and like Strict Toaster Sinu and like all the unique stuff. The airport build those 3 gentlemen did. There's just so many unique things, and here I'm gonna build a Midwest city. But I think that's what I need to do to get used to the game before I have any really strong drive to do something wacky. I need to get the game to function first. Which brings me to my next point. I think I want to do a power plant pretty soon and a water treatment plant pretty soon. So I think in the next episode I want to work on the green space between the river and the downtown. Kind of like a yin and a yang. Do the green space, the nice part, and then build a power plant. I'm thinking coal with a rail yard, a small rail yard with all the coal piles and stuff. I think that'd be kind of neat to do. And I've already got some water treatment assets that I'd like to fiddle around with and figure out how to make those work. Because once we have those cooking, we can actually hook it up to the city and we can actually get people living in here. And that'd be cool. That'd be kind of nice. I plopped down some schools and stuff as well. I think I did that all off camera. But we have schools and we have basic services. Some of them, you know, the ones that fit really well in an urban setting like this, in a downtown setting. So yeah, that's what's probably on the docket, is getting people to actually be able to live here, which would also then mean needing to work on the highway connection and hopefully being able to manage traffic. That's probably not one of my strengths, so. More parking lots. I do love me some parking lots. I thought here I could add, because there's some parking lots baked into the asset I'm using, and so I wanted to think of a way to make that work, and so I think I get something that looks, oh, I delete, nope. That's what happens. I accidentally delete the building. Wah, wah. But then I put one in that doesn't have parking behind it, so we're great. It doesn't matter anyway. That's how you do when you're playing Cities Skylines and you don't know what you're doing. I think my favorite part of the episode, my favorite thing I did, were the silly bollards around the Westin. So here we're putting in the basics of a trail, and we will expand on that in the next episode. And that actually brings us to the end of this episode. So I do hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy this episode, please go ahead and hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't. And I will see all of you for the next episode of Cities Skylines, Fisher's Landing. Have a great day, great night, great whatever. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.